Hi Spidey-Fans, it's your friendly neighbourhood, the ultimate Spider-Man fan here, and welcome back to another video on me reading my Marvel Spider-Man PS4 related book, Hostile Takeover. So we're continuing on chapter 5 this time. So at the end of the last part you heard about the Kingpin of Crime. So let's see where we're heading now. I know where the book, I know how the book goes. I'm just saying that so that you know, so you can catch up. Yeah, the Kingpin. Fisk, he thought. The anger blossomed inside him, radiating outward until it was hard to remain still. Fisk was in the news a lot back when he'd first started Spider-Maning. Peter had been convinced Fisk was, as the tabloids claimed, the Kingpin of Crime, the most ruthless criminal in the city. Sure, Peter was just a high school kid back then, but he'd been driven to prove that he could use his powers responsibly. He'd made a massive mistake soon after he got his spider powers. A frivolous decision not to act when he might should have acted. So hang on, a frivolous decision not to act when he might have acted, should have acted, and that had led to the death of his Uncle Ben. He'd sworn never again to sit idly when there was something he could do, something that would make a difference. That something had been putting the Kingpin behind bars. Spider-Man had dedicated months of his life toward that goal, disrupting Fisk's operations, keeping him off his game, and looking for hard evidence upon which even a bribed or blackmailed district attorney would have to act. Spider-Man had dug up that proof. He'd collected files, laptops, photographs and witnesses. He'd found enough hard evidence to put Fisk in a bespoke orange jumpsuit for life. Back then, and it felt like the triumph of a lifetime. He remembered sitting on the couch with Aunt May, shoving fists full of popcorn into his mouth while the local news showed Fisk walking into the precinct. You know, Peter, there was a time when I wasn't sure how to feel about that Spider-Man. Aunt May had told him, but it certainly looks as if he's done the city a real favour. Coming from her, it had felt really good. The cocktail of pride and satisfaction and contentment. The situation of knowing he'd really accomplished something important had been hard to beat. Then life beat it right down and smacked it upside down. It's a metaphorical hell. Fisk's lawyers went to work and suddenly half the news outlets in the city were on Fisk's side. It was a setup that said Spider-Man was a thug, a criminal himself, and he wanted honest businessmen like Wilson Fisk destroyed so the criminals could have free reign. Evidence went missing, documents vanished or changed, photos were altered, computer records disappeared, witnesses forgot things or remembered entirely new accounts that exonerated Fisk. Which, sorry if I said that name wrong, exonerated Fisk, made him look innocent, made him look like a hero struggling to save his business while a lawless vandal and a caution tried to tear down everything an honest man had accomplished. Fisk walked. He'd gone right out of the courthouse and then out of the country. He'd been gone for years too, and maybe that was good enough. Spider-Man had told himself, sure, it wasn't perfect. No one wanted a guy like Fisk being evil on someone else's turf. But at least Spider-Man had cleaned up his own backyard. If people everywhere did the same, the bad guys would have nowhere to hide. It was weak, Spider-Man knew, but it was all he had. It was all he had. Then a year ago, Fisk appeared back on the scene, throwing money around, investing in mental real estate deals, developing long neglected parts of the city, creating jobs and goodwill. The newspapers were full of stories about the Fisk Foundation, a new charitable effort which was aimed at promoting opportunities for New Yorkers of all incomes. Wilson Fisk was a changed man. He told everyone who would listen, which included a number of journalists whose organisations were flush with Fisk money. Flush with Fisk money. He'd never been what the vigilantes had claimed, he told them, but he had been selfish and greedy, focused on nothing but his own bottom line. Hardship had taught him that the price of selfishness. Now he understood that he had to do good to do well, and that was why every project he invested in would make the city a little better, improve the lives of its citizens. He didn't want to profit unless others provided too. That was what he claimed, and that was what plenty of people seemed to believe. The truth was, Fisk was back in drugs and extortion and hijacking and money laundering. All of his old tricks. If it was dirty and violent and profitable, he had his hands in it. Spider-Man knew it, and he was sure he could prove it, but he didn't know if proving it would change the thing. It hadn't last time. I know you've got your own history with that piece of garbage, what Nabby said. That's one of the reasons I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I've been trying to build a case against Fisk since he came back on the scene, but I've had to do it on the sly. There are plenty of people above me who do. Spidey-Fan, half of these words I actually know what to say, but I just can't get the word out. Sorry. There are plenty of people above me who want Fisk investigated. Fisk always had cops on his payroll, illegally, what Nabby said, but her tone made it clear there was no doubt those charges were dropped. Remember, you played a pretty big part in his arrest that time. What was that, 5 years ago? 7, Spider-Man said. Right. She said, I guess the question is, what is Fisk right now? What is Fisk after now? Why go to all this trouble? What is setting you up, Gavin? Seems like it's better to focus on catching this impersonator, Spider-Man proposed. Fisk is slippery and we can worry about his motives later. This bogus Spider-Man bogus me might provide all of the answers. Can you ask for the camera video feed from the construction site? We can ask, she said, but if they say no, we'll need a search warrant and without any evidence of a crime. But you're right, I don't see that happening. Even if we could get a warrant, it'll take time. Fisk might have his people eased or altered the feed by then. Why would Fisk even have a secret construction site, Spider-Man asked? Everyone knows he's a real estate developer. This building is nothing but high-end luxury co-ops. What Nabby explained, there's nothing noble about it, nothing that benefits the common man. It's meant to make a ton of money, so he doesn't want it getting out, since it's not consistent with his new good boy call. None of that tells us what he wants. It looks like good old fashioned revenge to me. What Nabby said, you mess with him, now he's messing with you. You really put the hurt on him back in the day. You gathered a ton of good evidence, but Fisk's lawyers were able to pick up plenty of reasonable doubt, especially with the evidence gathered by a guy dressed like a spider. There's no point in going after him again. I didn't say that, she replied, but if you'd had someone on the inside helping you, as someone who could clean the evidence away, Fisk launders money, things might have turned out differently at the time. I know you costume types are loners, but maybe we could help each other out. That this was what he had been waiting to hear. It was a terrific idea, but he didn't want to appear too anxious, so he leaned back and folded his arms. Maybe I'm usually out of Chinatown, but Hell's Kitchen is short-handed tonight, she said. that clown out there playing some stupid game on his phone isn't my regular partner either. She gestured with her hand, looking disgusted. In fact, I think he could be one of those guys in Fisk's pocket, which is why I'm happy to let him play games on his phone instead of helping me out. I caught this case and that morning will be happy to be off the hook. All of which means I call the shots. I'm going to go on the offence, argue that we suppress the Spider-Man angle, say the evidence makes it clear, and it does, that this is an imposter looking to stir the pot, and we don't want to play his game. Sooner or later the guy will have to strike again, and anyone else gets killed, and someone else gets killed. Maybe not. She shrugged. There's no reason to think he'll play the same hand twice. There's also no reason to think he would use violence again. No matter what we do, our best option is to keep him playing our game rather than having us play his. Meanwhile, you and me, we go after Fisk. You go after him. How? I don't know, she admitted. I need to give this some thought, but you can go places I can't, and I know things that you don't. Your ability should be able to land us evidence I'd never get my hands on otherwise, and I can turn it into something that will hold up in court. I can turn it into something that you will hold up in court. She paused and then let me chew on this a while. If you don't like what I come up with, you can tell me to get lost. But I have a feeling you'd like to see Fisk go down as much as I would. She held out her hand, they shook, and maybe it was just the emotion of the moment, but I felt as if something momentous had just happened. Let's hope we don't make things worse, she said. Watanabe grinned. I can see you're going to be a whole lot of fun to work with. It wasn't even 11 o'clock yet. I felt much later, like the sun should be coming up soon. Peter still hadn't processed everything that had happened. The setup, Andy being murdered, the imposter, and Fisk. It was a bubbling stew of horribleness. The only bright spot was Lieutenant Watanabe, if she was willing. If she was willing to work with him and figure out how they could pool their resources, it might be a chance to set things right. Inside his East Village department, Peter navigated the piles of clothes, dirty dishes, stacks of books, and tortuously assembled computer components. The place was crumpled, badly maintained, and way too expensive. He was behind with last month's rent and couldn't even bring himself to think about this month's. Living in a shoebox he couldn't afford was just part of the glamour of being a superhero. While he pulled off his suit, he tried to focus his anger in the right direction. Fisk was famous for counterpunching, so it didn't surprise Peter that even after all these years he'd been looking to get back at Spider-Man. Fisk didn't know how to hurt the man, so he figured he could hurt the image. Peter couldn't worry about reputation, though he had to focus on doing what he could do to help as many as possible. Uncle Ben has said himself, with great power there must also come great responsibility. Spidey-Fans, I can see it in my screen here. I'll maybe finish off this page and then I'll just end this because I don't have enough clips to finish it off. It was something Peter had considered the night he decided not to stop the thief who later killed his uncle. They were the words Peter tried to live by. Now he had a responsibility to use his abilities the best way he could. He also had a habit of examining everything he did, picking over every move, every decision to see if he could have done better. Were there better choices he might have made tonight? Choices that might have saved Andy's life. Peter thought he'd done what seemed to be the right thing at the time, not knowing that he'd been set down onto the board of a bigger game. If Fisk was involved, though, he couldn't afford to let his guard down, not again. Fisk was a corrupt as they come, and Peter couldn't change that. He could, however, stop him, and that meant doing everything in his power to make it happen. I'm not going to have enough room here to make it happen. First things first, though, what he needed more than anything else was to see MJ. She always talked him down, helped him feel better. She wasn't expecting a phone call again, though. And that's going to be it, Spidey fans, unfortunately. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and bye.